Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday live show. I hope you're all doing well out there, staying warm where it's cold and not getting blown over where it's windy, which is the case over here. We've got no Paul, our moderator tonight, so behave yourself in the chat, please. Down below here, I got disembodied voice with his opinions.
Well, you're not supposed to warn them about it. Now they know that they're not going to be on their
I always
best.
warn everybody.
I don't know.
I trust my audience.
Although,
audience ever. Oh.
we were preempted by Baby Shark Firefighter Rescue. So there you
Don't
go.
know what that is, but okay. Fair enough. And in the camera focus a little bit more tonight will be Miss Flo working on a spooky
on the Nightbringer, finishing up the Nightbringer.
She's bringing the night over here.
Bringing the night over.
Yeah, yes. I got a few things that I was asked to finish before the end of the month, so I'm focusing on those tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tonight's topic, as if you read the Facebook message or the Twitter message, is this buddy voice and I were talking about what would be a good topic. And usually the topic ends up being something we've had to deal with that kind of relates to gaming. And then lacking that, it's usually like movies, because that just happens to be like on our mind a whole lot, or storytelling. In which case, we should definitely talk tonight.
We did see one tonight.
We did. Yeah. We did.
Or tonight, last night.
Yesterday we did. But we should also talk about those other videos you were showing me of the cute Hero Quest stories happening. I think we should play that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had a game over the weekend. My first game of 2026 against DJ, Flo's boy, against his Necrons. So it was a 2,000 point game of Guard versus Necrons. And he was using like the data slate cards, but he also had his phone up for like the FAQs. And I was using the app. And we just kept running into situations where we kept having to look stuff up on the phone. And so that's kind of what brought up the idea of like, how much time are we spending staring at a phone versus like staring at our minis and doing stuff? And I get that it can be relative to how well you know the rules. However,
you're not even staring at a rule book now.
You're not.
It's like not even a rule book anymore. It's just how much time are you spending on the internet trying to find your rules?
The rule book is never up to date.
There's always that the rule book is a bit of a joke now, where it's like, yeah, you have the rule book. That's cute. That was just your entry fee. Now you've got to keep up with FAQs. And the big thing that kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you, is, I'm playing the new company detachment for the Imperial Guard. So there's a rule in there about how you get plus, you get to reroll ones on a hit. Let me pull it up here. I took a screenshot. So yeah, there you go. So there's your like detachment rule. And it specifically says reroll a hit roll of 1 if a unit makes an attack, and if the target of that attack's within range of an objective marker, reroll a wound roll of a 1.
A wound roll?
Well. A wound roll.
A wound roll.
A wound roll of a 1 as well. And DJ's like, I think that got FAQ'd out. I'm like, well, the app's up to date. And I checked it today. It's still up to date. And he's like, no. And he pulls up the FAQ. And he's like, yeah, they took that out of there. Because obviously re-rolling a wound roll of 1 if you're on objective marker is clearly overpowered.
No. He doesn't just pull up the FAQ. He has to go searching for it on the internet.
He has to go searching for the FAQ, which came out.
So I just want to point out before we move on that I was hanging out. Flo and I were hanging out. I don't know, probably talking horror movies, but we're sitting over there watching this table with miniatures on it. Really cool table. DJ's been 3D printing stuff. Flo's been painting. It's super cool looking. No one's standing around it. It's just sitting over there by itself. And you see these two sad gamers, like over on the other side of the room, just sitting there on their cell phones, like trying to solve issues. And this is constantly happening. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, I know Miranda's kind of getting back up to speed with some of the stuff. And yeah, DJ is plays only so many games. But I would say almost 50% of their game was them not at the table, but them instead like both looking at their phones. So I'm just prefacing the story with that to begin with.
You need the well, no. So the app, if you use that for making your list, yes, you would use that. But you better also check the FAQ because the FAQ has already been out for over a week and has still not updated to the app. So
yes, Chronic Toast, you are correct.
yeah, two sad gamers. Oh, it shouldn't be a sitcom. That's too much real life. We don't need to have that. So yeah. Anyway, real quick catch up in the chat a little bit. Thank you all for being here. I know Plunderden wasn't able to stay, had to go to work, so we'll be in here in spirit. We appreciate you. We always appreciate you, man. Jeremy, good to see you. I think you would maybe appreciate some of the story stuff that that disembodied voice found with the Hero Quest thing, just so you know. Matthew, I'm taking a break from a commission project, Storm Legion Colossal, to work on the Grimkin Weird Wendell minis. Ooh, that's fun. Jeremy, I couldn't get into Riot Quest. Just did not interest me in the slightest. It was supposed to, I've heard great things about it. Thomas Grable, I believe, really enjoys it. I have yet to play it. The Riot Quest model has a better Zenithiel on it right now. I may decide to repaint it later. Good times. Searches are faster than the app, than the average terribly indexed rulebook. Well, but there's like two problems there, aren't there? Wait, there are rules. There's so many rules. So that was another complaint. Like, because of course, you get to socialize and we all start, griping about stuff to each other. And I try to frame it in a positive way of like what I would like to see more than just like everything's a problem and there's no solution. However, the thing that we were talking about is when we're having right now, DJ and I are having a game, right? And so we're playing 2,000 points and we can stop the game to chat about life or, their cats or, some other incidental chatter, right? Like you're just hanging out with somebody. But we have to stop the game to do that because when the game's actually happening, all of my vocal attention is going to explaining the things that I am about to do, which all require multiple steps. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to move over here and shoot at your dudes. It's okay, I'm going to move over here. Do you have a stratagem to react to that? Okay, you don't. All right, so I'm going to move forward. Okay, we've entered the shooting phase. Before that, I've got to, let me see, did I make sure I put the orders on them? Okay, do I have any stratagems I want to use? Yeah, I'm going to use this stratagem to put here. Do I roll to see if I get my command point back? Oh, that doesn't apply here. Okay. All right, what is the ballistic skill? I'm going to fire this thing on the ballistic skill. Okay. Am I re-rolling here? Hold on, let me check. Where's the positioning of you on the board? Okay, let me re-roll any of those. There's no point. I re-roll ones into ones anyway. And next is going to be, okay, did I wound you? Okay, now let's roll off those. And what are your saves? And oh, you've got these other saves, and maybe some feel no pains, or maybe some other nonsense that the Necrons have, which apparently is just an invulnerable 4-up save on absolutely everything. And there's just so much chatter back and forth that is really like you've spent 5 minutes explaining and just going back and forth to resolve like one unit. I was like, huh, that's a lot of time. And that's when you do know the rules. So it was it's interesting. It brings up the question of like, how social is this game again? And it's different in a tournament, like, because you are racing through it in a tournament and all your chatter is like after game, right? You're like, the game's over. You kind of chill and chattering before you have to run off to the next game. Or if you're like me and you're kind of like going up to clock, then you're just running off to the next game anyway. But yeah, how social is this game and how much time are we spending looking up stuff in an app? Which, by the way, try looking up Battle Shock in the app. That's really dumb. So yeah. Matthew, the War Machine app's pretty good, but an imperfect experience to be sure. Well, I really appreciate that Steamforge did, as an announcement and follow through on it, agreed to have at least a company where you can have cards printed. Plus, they're not FAQing their game quite as frequently as Warhammer. Like 40K gets so many updates. I don't know how many FAQs we've had already. But the idea that you have to keep up with that because even the app isn't keeping up with all of their rule changes feels like a bit of a problem, right? Like, is that like even the computers can't keep up? What do you want here? So there's my rant about it. Tell me why I'm wrong. If you're talking voice, I can't hear you at all. Let's see. There you go, Thomas. I, for one, is very glad for the printed rulebook for War Machine. It is a pain playing on the app and switching to the rules during the game. It really is. And thank goodness.
All right, am I on now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry, it's the little thing on my headset that keeps turning itself off. So that's annoying. But yeah, it's the promise that, oh, no, trust me, apps are better in every way because they solve all the problems. You know, it's easy. We can just keep them updated just in a moment's notice. It's just so wonderful, so easy. And then we're sitting here watching it. It's like, oh yeah, no, they didn't bother to update it. And
well, yeah, because that was
they still haven't bothered to
back.
update it.
Because he's like, oh yeah, they put out the FAQ. Is your app up to date? I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, I literally checked it, and then I checked it again today, which means that the FAQ's been out for over a week and still no update. So I don't know. Isn't that a kind of a problem? Like, what if people had tournaments this last weekend and then, oh, well, you better have been up on the FAQ. I know it says so in your app, but no one's going to bother to update this thing you pay for to make sure you have the right set of rules. Go searching, plebeian. I don't know. Like, what is even the reaction at that point? But yes, there are definitely some strengths to the app, and I understand there's the certain argument of convenience and the ability to look stuff up and theory craft mostly, where you sort of play with the idea of making some lists and think about it. That has always been a really strong thing for the app, in my opinion. But actual gameplay, it's clunky and awkward. And of course, in the tournament scene, you have to use two apps because you also need like tabletop battles or whatever to keep track of all the scoring, because we score so many points now in a given game that there's it's really a lot of accounting now to do. The problem is you're playing a trash game. Come to the dark side and play all the games I play. Well, there's that. I mean, sure.
There's also a video I just saw just recently where
oh, really?
By Lords of War Games and Hobbies. I see these guys every now and again.
Yeah.
Like, a couple of guys own a game store in Canada somewhere, but they were talking about some stuff we've been talking about for quite a while about how so much of Warhammer 40K is turning into what old War Machine was. Yeah.
Like crazy rules.
Leaning hard into the complexity.
Uh-huh. Oh, I thought you were about to play it.
No, I was just showing. It's a whole discussion they have. So if anyone is interested, you can look at that. But it's Lords of War Games and Hobbies.
And Jeremy, I know that there's other games I can be playing, but one, I have a whole ass army, and I really like my army. And 40K can be quite fun, at least in theory. Like, feels like it should be fun. And it's really cool to have a miniature all painted up, and then you want to see how it performs on the board. It's just it's like, is 40K fun despite itself?
Well, it's one of the, again, it kind of goes into the thing that I'm talking about, or that I've talked about for a long time now. But it's, the idea that, what was it? I'm trying to remember who we had. It was year before last at Nova Open during your panel that you do. But it was the game design panel. But either way, one of the guys used to work at GW. I'm blanking. Yes, it was Gavin Thorpe, who kept bringing up. He's like, well, yes, Games Workshop does this, but even though it works for Games Workshop, no one else can do what Games Workshop does. In terms of like their business practices, all the stuff they do. And a huge part of it is because they have focused hard on their lore, on building a world and maintaining a world that is consistent, and keeping it up to the point now where it's kind of generational lore. There's fathers and sons that go to the conventions and work on the same tables together. There's all kinds of stuff, and it's lore that's lore. It's consistent lore, right? And I mean, you saw them take they even took a little bit of a hit when they're like, what? There's always been female custodies. And just something as small and simple as that, people are like, like, lore is important. Don't screw me around, And it's like for a lot of game designers out there, for a lot of you guys that are making a game or trying to work, lore
Yeah.
is more important than you realize. Even if your player base isn't into your lore right now, keep at it. Because through thick and thin, I mean, if you've played, if you've been in and around the wargaming hobby for the last several decades, I mean, you've seen thick and thin, there's so much even people just lamenting Games Workshop, but still knowing all about the lore, and they'll still read the next Black Library book and look forward to the new Dawn of War game and, all that stuff. And so, no, your lore and your stories are super important because you get to get away with this stuff. And so it's when Miranda's saying like, yeah, I make my model. I want to put him on the table. I want to play him. And it's like, yeah, you want to do that because it's a really cool setting. And you want to do that anyway, even if the rules aren't great, you still want to do it. You still want to put your models on the table and play them.
Yeah, because like the idea of it, the aesthetic of it is fun. And the analog, there is an attraction to the fact that it is analog. Because if you want just the most precise gameplay experience, and I've mentioned this dozens of times at this point, you can play a video game because it will be way more precise. But there is something about the tactile gameplay, the miniaturization. I was talking about it yesterday to Voice, like just the idea of a miniaturized world and it representing stuff. There's just something about that captures the imagination and getting to do that. And it feels like you disconnect yourself from that in the middle of the gameplay, which sure, a little bit because you are going through mechanics. But when you have to just pull away to look up something on a screen, it just makes the whole experience feel more empty. It's weird.
Well, when I'm having to use apps for everything just to play a game, I'm sitting there going, why am I not just playing a video game? You know what I mean?
PW's app. Why are you paywalling everything and not offering a subscription?
World of Warcraft.
Because they can get away with that.
No,
they're like, yeah, you can subscribe, and what's that?
Yeah, well, you blame World of Warcraft. They taught the entire world that if you just have a subscriber base, you don't have to put out any.
Well, but what he's saying is, why not have a subscription? Why is it a paywall for everything? So here's how the GW app works. You pay for a subscription to be able to build more than like one list. And then for each actual codex, you have to pay completely separate for that. You have to pay your $50, $60 codex fee to get the code in, regardless of if you're subscribed or not.
Yeah. And then what is Warhammer Plus? What do you have to subscribe to?
So Warhammer Plus is like the TV stuff.
No, but there's the app, right? Isn't there a subscription attached to that as well?
There is. That's literally just to be able to build more than one list.
That's what I'm saying is they're going with the subscription model, and also Games Workshop likes to just add charges on top of it, but you're still having to subscribe. And that's why that's why everyone pushes apps. I mean, go to McDonald's and the first thing they ask you at the drive-thru is, "Oh, are you going to use our app?" It's just
no, I am not. I do not want an app. I did not download your app. I will not get your app.
Oh,
but I mean, every company out there.
I almost had an argument with a guy at Staples over it.
It's
like, why the hell do I want your app? I'm here like twice a year, maybe. They're like, oh, we have a coupon you can only use on the app. I'm like, fine. I'm just not going to do it. But I feel like I'm in the minority there.
Well, maybe. Maybe just a lot of people aren't talking about it, and why it's good to voice your opinions on it, because I don't know. A lot of times people can feel alone when they have what they think is an unpopular opinion when it might be more popular than they think.
We're playing some one-page Rules of Valhalla this year, I hear. Oh, is that what's happening?
Oh, nice.
Give me a reason to bring my firstborn before they become immediately written out of the lore. I will be bringing 3D Thunderhead Fortress to Valhalla for Riot Quest and IKRPG. Oh, this could be such a fun year. And a Gaslands race. Oh my God, let's just all like stop by a gas station and buy some
Hot Wheels.
And go do it. We'll kit bash it right there at Valhalla. I love it. See, that stuff sounds fun because I don't know, I guess we're playing with toys again, right? But I don't know, there's the camaraderie of it. I feel like I'm really struggling to try and find like what it magically is, because when I watch these battle reports of older games, older editions of the game. So they're not referring to any app on. They have a whole rule book, and that's just that. And maybe it had an FAQ or two, but it wasn't crazy.
And if it's an old enough edition of a game, nobody was expected to have FAQs either.
Yeah.
And so just the rules are the rules.
Yeah, and it's like it's like, oh, what a simple time! What a quaint people these are! Like you're just so fascinated by like the quaintness of it. Andy, I have trim on 19 more rubric marines to paint before tournament on Saturday. If anyone wants to come,
I feel that.
Woo, dude!
I feel that.
You can talk about cats when playing 40K. Well, yeah, it helps when there's like a cat that's right there. The kitty cat that just loves me. So, of course, I'm going to give little Pen all the attention. But I have to stop playing to be able to do that. Unless I'm.
To be fair, she does like flop over on the floor and expect you to bend down and give her all the attention. So.
Yeah, and she gets it. So, I mean, it's not like she's wrong. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's weird, guys. And it's frustrating because I think it's making game design very, very lazy, especially when you're, again, not even going to bother to update the app. That's like 101, right?
Well, I feel like if you're what is it, requiring an app, then it shouldn't be required that your FAQ is just part of the app instead of making people go like search for things outside of it.
Well, and when something like that's happening, it feels like a weird like power play, on your audience. It's like, haha, I know you paid for this, but also too bad. Go search it out anyway. Like it just seems there's something spiteful about it in my head. Where I'm like,
prostrate yourself, customers.
Kind of. I mean, I don't know. And I know a lot of people in here don't play 40K anymore. In fact, here we go, Mikey. Legit why I stopped playing 40K, competitive 40K in 7th edition. Multiple rule books per army, multiple rule books and FAQs every couple of months, which there are again. It was exhausting to keep up with my own army. 40K could use some streamlining. 40K needs some serious culling, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Fix that. But yeah. So that's a whole separate, it's kind of a separate issue, but.
What are you talking about? They've been doing culling. You don't even have Strachan anymore.
Yeah, I don't have Strachan anymore in my list. I can't bring him.
See, they culled him.
They culled him. He's gone. I'm sure we'll get some new Catachan commander stuff. I think there already are some because that's in the rule book in the little list
I bet
here.
you're gonna have is gonna get replaced with a female Catachan commander. I bet you.
So I mean, I've read books with female Catachan commanders. It's a daughter of one of them in Catachan Blood, or there's one of them or they're on a death roll. And you know what? She's fine. I know.
Oh, I'm sure. Probably is. Probably a well-written character because it's in the Black Library, and those tend to be pretty decent.
They tend to at least be decent to good. I know there's some ridiculous ones, and I haven't happened to read those. War Machine does it. War Machine does what? War Machine is all in one place. Okay, yeah. So War Machine does keep their rules up to date, and they give you a physical rule book. Now you do still have to deal with like their rebalances, but yes, they're definitely not as egregious. Like Steamforge is still way better to their audience, hands down.
For
like I'm not complaining about that. It is more of a, I don't know, like the cultural shift toward everything being app based. I think that, I don't know, I feel like we're losing something there. Oof. Especially since there's also just all the tracking on that, right? Like if you use the Infinity
oh yeah, Infinity
stuff, they take in all the win-loss ratios specifically to balance like what your armies are, how your armies are performing. And GW does the same thing. I lost my reroll ones on wound rolls if a model's on an objective marker because I guess their win ratio in the tournament scene, the Astra Militarium's win ratio is like 53% or something like that. And so they're like, nope, we've got to tweak that. And it's just all these little micro tweaks where, I don't know, I got other things that I do in my life, like just other than playing this game. And so I almost feel a little gaslit when I'm like, wasn't that a rule before? Where did it go? What's happening?
Well,
I'm
it
like,
gives
I have
them
to do that.
it gives them the opportunity to overreact way too quickly. You know, it's like, oh, they're winning slightly more. Got to quickly nerf it. And it's like, well, hold on. What's the meta's answer to this? Like, hang on, you know, but because they can do it all immediately, you just watch faction balance go up and down like the stock market.
SFD updating annually. Yeah, okay, so that's way better. I thought it was semi-annually, but I guess it is just annually. JP, it could, and it may have to. GW game design tends to swing from one trend to another. The granularity is what people were asking for years ago, so now they got it and they don't want it. Well, I mean,
what it's worth, I never asked for that.
it depends, because you've got gamers at a certain point in their life, you know, older gamers versus newer gamers versus people who complain a lot on the internet and don't game at all versus people who are just in charge and just thinking what they would personally like to see that may not actually be like really playing themselves. I don't know. It's where you've got to be careful of what audience feedback you take, especially if you're running, you know, something kind of near and dear to people that you've had around for 40 years. Seems a little bit of a GW problem not doing as good as SFG with their app updates and user experience. Yes, but again, I must say, if you're spending all your time messing around on an app because you don't get access to a rule book, and I mean reasonable access, not where it's like, oh, okay, I bought the rule book, but I also have like 14 PDFs printed out of the FAQs that I've got to cross-reference to. Like, that's not okay. I think they should make a proper rule book that they properly play tested and then put it out and live with that as it is for the period of time until a new edition or whatever.
So far, I'm still just a War Machine Mark II guy, where the cards came with the models, and what is said on the card is what the model does, and that's that.
I mean, I also like War Machine for generally having specific loadouts and not because I guess GW always had the granularity of deciding what you're going to equip each of your models with. But that was because of the points granularity, and because the rules now are just like, we don't care what your loadout is, they're X amount of points, but you still have to like figure out what your specific loadout is. Then you get all these meta swings of what's really powerful and what's not. Chronic Toast, app tools are only as useful as they are practical.
Yes.
Effectively, it is easier to use in practice. Is it easier to use in practice than what it is meant to replace? Well, it's easier to memorize simpler rules that don't change all the time than to constantly have to refer back to your phone, make sure it's updated, then double check the internet because it's probably lying to you before you can continue with a rules question.
Well, I still like the idea. The way the points were, you'd make a 50-point game. You could kind of just pick up your deck of cards that you had for your Mark II War Machine army and just do the math in your head as you laid out 50 points right there in front of you.
Sure.
And it's like, I mean, that I remember seeing that. I played, you know, War Machine and Warzone, or I'm sorry, Warhammer and Warzone and all that stuff for years. And I remember seeing that. I was just thinking like, oh my God, that's brilliant. Like, they've solved it. There you go. Army list building has been solved. This is genius. And then not only did no one else pick it up, but they walked away from it too. And so are there any games out there, ask the chat, I guess, are there any games out there that still do something like that still have a simplistic and low cost army that, you know, I mean, and they can't say like, oh, you know, you need the fine tuning. You don't. War Machine was one of the most balanced games for a long time, especially when they were using that system. So are there any games out there that do that still?
Well, I try to think of the major ones, right? So Infinity, very heavily, I think, app-based for the purpose of making any list. The GW obviously is leaned super hard into apps. War Machine sort of led that more, I think, with their app early on. Weird Miniatures for Malifaux, they have an app. Although to their credit, it's not subscription based. It's one and done, pay for and go. And then everything else, I feel like Patty or Jeremy will have to answer because they're way more up on like all the little indie games out there. And it's like, yeah, I guess you could play Horde Wars, which is more of an RPG. I guess a lot of the RPGs are still normal rules. I don't know how many FAQs are coming out for those. I don't keep up with the RPGs so much. These guys, the first time I saw the Lord of Wars guys was that War Machine documentary you recommended. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's those same guys. I mean, JP, let's be real. Is that at all surprising? It's almost like GW, a $6 billion company, because they are so big, doesn't need to make a serviceable product.
Yes.
That is the reality of that statement. That's why you don't want companies to get just ginormous. Because once they don't really have to give a crap about your opinion, they won't. Andy, I play with my kids, who I don't give much device access to. On one hand, apps are the only way they can know when a change happens at all. But on the other, I want them to just have their rules in hand. Well, and so that speaks to the other problem, right? Why do rules need to be changing all the dang time? We don't need it. Like, you're not like solving world hunger with like your war game, right? You don't have to be like just constantly writing these rules and just constantly like staring at what the competitive base is to see how everyone else needs to play. And it just feels like it's out of deep insecurity and huge laziness to not balance your own damn rules and you say, well, they'll do it for us. We were all mad when the PlayStation 2 came out and we knew it had all these flaws. And literally Sony's statement was the customer base will be the test base after they've paid for a $300 product. Like, can we be mad about that, please? Like,
well, I mean, video games did bring that in a lot of way, right? Where for over the last decade now, we've just been, whenever you get a new game, you're almost always just paying to play the beta test. Nothing is finished. They just DLC always.
DLC, like, it was a great idea, and now we have only seen all the fallout of it. You buy games that almost never leave playtesting, the whatever beta release of it.
Early access or whatever.
Early access, thank you. That is the phrase. Chronic Toast. Miranda, I just got a whole complete Legions of Everblight army, complete with Gargantuan Dragon, ready for some War Machine shenanigans. Dude, there's gonna be so much War Machine this year of Valhalla. That's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be fun.
The only app I use is the Battlescribe Army Builder one. And then only as it has lists for apocalypse rules. Not a fan of normal 40k rules. Well, okay, so why is that, John? Is it because you don't like all the rules changing over? You just don't care for the addition? Or you mostly just play apocalypse games?
I mean, apocalypse games are cool.
Apocalypse games look really cool. I have yet... No, I did not participate at the big one that happened at Tavern of Souls. I just came and watched it. I was like, I got nothing Titanic to bring. Sorry. Astro, I think the idea of playing 40k might be more fun sometimes than the actual playing of the game. You're so right. I say that all the time. It's like, have you ever watched Role Models and whatever that kid's
McLovin?
name is? McLovin, yeah. And Paul Rudd's like, I don't know, you like Coke? And he's like, I like the idea of Coke. Like, I like the idea of 40k. I like the idea of playing more games. I used to like them a lot more. And so, it's like, did I change? Will the game state change? Whatever. And it's like, it's probably some of both. As you feel busier in life, it's hard to make time to, I don't know, give attention to a game that's kind of greedy for your time, but not in like a healthy, fun way of, no, I just really like being in this world. Like, if you really enjoy reading the Black Library or you're enjoying hobbying, that's different than like, no, I really enjoy keeping up with all these rules changes and like feeling like the sand is shifting out from under me all the time when I play a game, so that from week to week, even potentially, I'm dealing with changes.
So I do feel like there's a subset of players that really do enjoy constant rule changes.
And to the 14 of them out there in the world, I'm happy for you.
There's more than 14 of them. Really? In fact, you can probably find out how many. I think they post the number of like high-level tournament players online.
Sure.
Because those are the only people that really want that. Nobody else really wants that. But the high-level tournament players, people who play like several games, like almost, a bunch of games every single week, I think they do want tweaks and changes and every little thing just to add a little bit of variety to their meta. But I really do think that everyone from the average player who, will get together at their game store maybe once every week or two and get in a game with their friends, with their local community, down to the people who play once every few months with a buddy. I think they want the rules to stay the same so that they can just eventually learn those rules instead of just, again, watching you guys, half the game was spent, you looking at your phones trying to figure out how to play this game.
What is going on? And again, yes, you can go faster if you're really familiar with the rules. However, I've also been in plenty of tournaments where someone's like, oh, yeah, that's definitely the rule. In fact, I had to correct DJ a couple of times where he was just like, oh, yeah, that's definitely a rule. I'm like, wait a minute, read that. And then he reads like the whole rule and it only applies in a certain situation. I think he was like trying to deep strike on me because there was a rule for that. And I was like, that didn't apply in this point. And you can't do that. And so you're always having to kind of like push back on players because there's also the fallacy of people being overconfident in their rules too. Whole ass army. Are we talking about mules that go down to the Grand Canyon or are we talking about Derriere? Ha 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 ha. Patty, I like being able to lock in for a game, but I also like being able to use the game as a reason to hang out with people. It's why I love Valhalla so much because I'm hanging out with people I love. I know, it is pretty awesome.
That was by far my favorite. Again, I'm sure I've told the story, but when a friend of mine was lived in an army base down in Louisiana, I drove down there with another friend of mine for just a tournament, but it was more of an excuse to just go visit. And so we take our armies. My friend plays orcs. I played Space Marines at the time. What did I play? Imperial Fists. And so, no, what are they? The successor chapter of the Imperial Fists. With Pedro Cantor as the leader. Crimson Fists. I played Crimson Fists. And so we went down there for the tournament and it was a 4th edition tournament. And I remember even during timed battles with competitive play and all that stuff, I ended up just hanging out and chatting with the people I was in a tournament with most of the time, just talking about, their lives, what they're up to, who, what they do for a living, all this stuff. Like I found out, just kind of met somebody new and hung out with them while we were playing a game competitively. And anymore, you can barely do that in a casual game. You have to have your head so much in the game just to keep up with all of the, and quite frankly, extraneous rules that aren't really, I don't know. I don't know who they're fun for, but they certainly are numerous. All of these just random little rules.
No, they really are. It's too much in my opinion. But it's like, well, what's the solution to that? Because again, I don't want it just to be a complaints about like, I heard apps and I heard technology and grumble. Like, again, they have their place, but I don't know that wargaming lends itself to having the most simple type of thing to look up via an app. You do have to put in a fair bit of work to play a war game to understand the base rules and to, get through your first few games. Warlord game app, £2 per month. And it gives you access to every game system, army unit, etc. with unlimited lists for 7 days for free. Yeah, there you go. And they're using an app again too, but you don't have to use an app. Their book is decent. And so that would just come down to your style. First year I had Warhammer Plus gave me access to their apps. Now it does not. Okay, there we go. I kept up with it. Let's see. Buy a base codex, $50. Buy Space Wolf's codex, $50. Pay $60 to use the QR code on the back of the Space Wolf's codex for day one updates. Well, the codex has the code, right, for your app. But yeah, you have to buy. It's like the textbook scam that we dealt with in college, where it's like, yeah, here's the textbook. Anyway, you really need the code on the back. And as a professor, it might be my published book that you have to pay $250 for at the bookstore. But really, you can't just use a used book either because that code's one-time use. like that sort of scammy nonsense.
Look, JP, that's only $160. All right, quit being cheap and give Games Workshop your money. They need it, okay?
I think
What
the fine
were you
line.
going to do with it? Feed your kids? Come on.
Yes, have a life. Get your car. Matthew, I think the fine line is if the app is a reference, the equivalent of the cards in your army list, then when you are having to search, a quick reference or a rules check doesn't pull me out. No, and being able to search it is nice. Having a functional word search is also really helpful and important.
So do you remember, I mean, it was still in Mark II, but I remember even our drive down, from Albuquerque all the way out to Chicago, a 19-hour drive that we went with Brooker and his kid. And so there's 4 of us in this SUV with armies in tow, headed, cross country. We had the app out, even though the game was still a card-based game. You still had your cards that you put on the table and all that. They weren't, you didn't use your app for tournament play, but it was nice to have it. It was like a really fun additional thing that I wouldn't mind paying for, because you're just like, oh, well, what about this? I wonder if I can do a list like this, and it just lets you kind of be creative or pull something up in the car if you don't have your cards with you or something. Like, that stuff was fun. I like that. And it can be helpful, but I think that games need to chill out. They need to calm down a little bit and quit having so many stupid rules.
I think people, calm your tits.
They need to just not be abusive to their players is, I guess, my issue with it.
I mean,
I am weird, but I love the 3D printed files of the War Machine models they are releasing, better than the official new miniatures. I only play Iron Kingdom's 5th edition, so I'm excited to see the new models on my mini factory.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
No, they've done a good job. And, my complaints about technology do not extend to the 3D printing world. I think 3D printing is amazing.
No, I like it. A lot of times you can 3D print a model that is just not very, what would you call it? It doesn't lend itself to being cast, injection molded or resin cast or something. Like there's some cool stuff you can do with the 3D printed models that I do like. And I see some that come out and have some design to them and stuff. I agree with you. There's some really cool stuff that they can do.
It's because those 3D models don't feel as over designed as the new models do. Well, there's that. I mean, that was a separate issue, right? Where I mentioned, like, there's just so much detail, all these little raised surfaces, every little filigree piece is like a raised, like it feels so overdone. It feels overcooked. So I'm glad that they've chilled out a bit.
Well, I think that whatever maybe 3D modelers they've hired, I feel like they must have come from a video game background, just because the size and boxiness and everything of a lot of the stuff that was being built, that I think that they started building in more subtlety. And I think they've been getting better at their models, which I like.
Yeah, well, no doubt there. I should have some copies of Mutants to take with me to Valhalla. Those guys all deserve it for helping me test the rules. Yeah, get some games of that too. Shadow War Armageddon. Okay. No flipping out there. Shadow War Armageddon I thought would be so cool, but every time we tried to play it, all we found out was that we never had enough terrain for it.
Yeah.
It was just like a constant war of like, well, you need like way more pieces than we, and of course coming from War Machine, even wanting terrain, we just never had enough of it.
Which is also a thing that I like that they have on my mini factory, as they're putting out more and more War Machine terrain. I like it.
5 Space Marines you own. You got to read the rules a little bit more and together, a little bit, and put together some orcs for a war band. Nice. I mean, I thought Kill Team would be nice and cool and fun to play. And I guess the 2nd edition is pretty solid. 1st edition was what I played. Maybe it's 3rd edition now. I don't know. They did it another edition. I didn't care about it. And now there's another one, and it sounds like it might be interesting again. I think it's 3rd edition. Yeah,
I think it's whatever edition was. We did do a battle report on it. People are curious. We played Adam at Valhalla. We did it took almost the whole day to film it. But it's a full day battle report. But it's pretty cool. We do have it up on our website if you're curious.
Yes.
Or up on our YouTube channel.
It's always great to get double duty out of my minis. I use them in the IKRPG and War Machine. No, those are great. I love when the minis can be in multiple places. I loved Shadow War. I wish I knew what I did with my small space. Oh, I feel like a lot of Shadow War love in here. Let's see. They're turning all movie heroes into lesbians because they got the advice from an industry expert and misheard that they should hire. Yeah, maybe. Lesbians. I mean, yeah, you got like absolute insanity in the workplace and people getting into positions they have no business being in, of course, and so the players end up paying the fallout cost of that, unfortunately. But thankfully, we have a world where multiple game systems do exist. Steamforged Games is just about to come out with the casual play scenarios and campaign stuff. Oh, I wonder if that'll be ready
Casual
before
play
Valhalla.
scenarios.
Yeah, I wonder what they mean by that.
Yeah.
And actually listening to that player base to say, oh, yeah, maybe the casual people we don't have to actually just treat horribly. I appreciate that. Nice. That's really cool. Actually, I'll have to keep an eye out for that. I did recently resubscribe to the War Machine app. Miranda, Grimkin are changing the way Arcana are used. They will pop up to 2 Arcana on the Grimkin player's turn instead of when the opponent goes. Oh, okay. And so they're just going to be mini feats now that we get on our own turn, which that's fine, I guess. The Arcana was it was an interesting rule set. I just want to learn the rules and play. Stable rule sets, please.
Yes.
Yes. My hobby is not getting up to speed on 2 weeks of balance changes before I can even play a single game. No thanks. Which, for Bolt Action, I know they went a really long time before going to their new edition, right? I believe it was, and I don't know, how often have they come out with FAQs? Like, it feels like they actually play test their game.
Well, I remember part of it, whenever we started making battle reports, we had played a little bit of War Machine before, but when we were looking at it as to, well, what is it we're going to do? I think I'm trying to remember what their statement was, but they were like, we worked so hard on putting out Mark II that there's never going to be a Mark III.
Yeah, I remember that.
And for, a very long time, they stuck to that, and I appreciated it quite a lot.
Battletech. Yeah, no, Battletech's always my go-to, where I'm like, you don't need rules changing all the time. That's not how you keep the meta fresh. I know we all have our different techniques, but... And I mean, to Gav Thorpe's point earlier, don't do what GW does just because GW does it. They're the only ones who get to do it. And when you do it, it's annoying and no one likes you.
Although, man, on my mini factory, I've actually found there's one of the poster, I don't know what you call people on my mini factory, but that has an entire line of like the Battletech mechs. And so I actually want to print those at a 40K scale and do Battletech at that size. That sounds a lot more interesting to me.
I've gotten some Battletech stuff to paint.
Yeah.
It's pretty popular at Eton.
Wait a minute.
Always playing it when I go in.
What was Jeremy saying? He's going to look at the old school WotC something?
I want to talk about a deep dive. I'm going to learn the old Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons miniature battles. So are they like skirmish games, I guess? Let's see. How many points are we playing at Valhalla? I should make sure I have a list or two ready. I don't know. 50, 75, 100. I'm going to make it up on the spot. Moonstone.
As many as you want.
I have not played that one. All right. Star Wars Legion and Shadowpoint are both print and play with no app, but they do make changes still. Well, perhaps that's not like crazy frequent.
What is that? You print out cards that you then reference? Like War Machine, or is it like you go to the website and then you print out, like you build the army there and you print it? Which one, like, how is that? Because I remember the old army builder used to be that. We ended up taking our printer to Valhalla one year just as a courtesy for so many people printing out their 40K lists.
Yeah, I don't know. Battletech, including Alpha Strike, has cards. Flames of War, Team Yankee, don't know that one. Star Wars Legion, probably Marvel Crisis Protocol, and Shadowpoint as well. I would say not Mark IV because you really need the app still. I know Matt Wilson offers the Monpoc monster cards for free and has made nice cards available and printed home versions for free. Printed home versions are nice, and War Machine did do that. Like they did have their their card library online.
I did like that,
and it did. They would put it out into a PDF, or you could print it. So I mean, that is appreciated.
I also like that since they had it online, I could open up those files in Photoshop and pull apart the elements so they could make our own custom cards for stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I very much agree with you, Miranda, with the constant rules changes, updating and changes. It seems like it's almost meant to keep some kind of new buzz for the game companies. Yeah, I don't know if it's designed to like justify jobs or what, but I don't like the feeling of always being off balance. Like to me, I feel like a war game idea should be kind of like the whole hobby space of that should be kind of, is comforting the right word? It should be familiar. Cozy. Because there's a certain apprehension to even like signing up for a tournament now, because I'm like, oh God, am I going to be up on the FAQs? Like I have to do all my homework before I can even sign up. I can't just, oh yeah, cool, sign up, see you in a month, and I'll just have my list ready to go. It's like, no, can't do that. You gotta be up on everything. And
I kind of see what he's saying though. There's an interesting, it's the sort of thing YouTube channels do a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like, even if it's bad, I mean, hell, Hollywood used to do it way back in the day. There's no such thing as bad press, but it's the idea that if people are saying good things or bad things, they're talking about your game, which is keeping it alive in the public discourse, right? And so it's like an idea that still drives sales and still drives relevance for your game because people are still talking about it. And there is a fine line. I mean, I know that I see a lot of stuff on Star Wars, and Star Wars has managed to get to the point where it's gone beyond that, where it's been bad news so long that there's a lot of people that just, the apathy has set in. And so it's like, it's actual brand damage at that point, where it's like, it's, wait, I have Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg.
What a time to be alive. I'm glad I can stay sort of in the same room with these people.
That's right. No, but it's the sort of thing where it's just like, you want to keep it good news coming out about your company and what you're doing at least every so often. And I wonder if that's part of what they do with their releases every 3 years as well.
Yeah. For me, it's the keyword salad that means nothing. Dude, yeah, Laura, you're having to constantly connect those dots too. And War Machine started that and DW copied that, but it's like, yeah.
I think keyword is great as long as they're intuitive and there's not like a million of them. Because one of the things that keywords were able to do is they were actually able to, like when War Machine did them, they would let you get really creative with how to build a list, including certain types of like mercenaries could join regular faction groups, certain types of stuff. Like it actually built into the story of what was going on and why the keywords were there. It was really cool. I liked it.
Well, okay, so yes, within reason or to taste. One-page rules gets a pass for me for the app, mostly because the game is so accessible and cheap. Jeremy made a great point about one-page rules updating the rules way too often. Even once a year seems a lot. Yeah, I feel like once a year would be like the most I could tolerate, ideally. And it's like, fine, you want to make some changes, but I feel like there's too much of a love of reinventing this stuff all the time. War game companies should cater apologetically to their target demographic and just move on. Trying to cater to the loudest minority, often tournament players, causes casuals to flee into messy rules.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen that happen in the world, so it's a pretty fair example.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing games pauper style. Yeah,
so I guess the big thing for me is I would have more patience for that if whenever the rules update happened, I would look at those updates and go, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this unit was really strong, probably needed to back off a little bit. Yeah, these guys were weak. They needed to be buffed up a little bit, but it never is. Almost always when you see the rules changes, you look at it and you go, what the hell? Why are they doing this? And the unit I want to play still hasn't been fixed. Like they're not fixing it. They're just changing it for the sake of change, I think, which is what I hate.
Also causes them to revert to old editions or outdated games. More time
Yes.
lives.
Oh yeah.
JP. It's because one-page rules is trying to maintain relevance with what GW churns out. It's the price of being GW adjacent. That's
Yeah, I
insecurity,
agree.
though, if that's the case. Because if you're cool, you don't need to constantly like try to keep up with the people.
Yeah, but one-page rules only exists as an alternative rule set for 40K.
So 40K.
It doesn't exist as its own. Like they haven't built their own intellectual property. And I mean, maybe they've done to some small degree, but nothing I'm familiar with. I don't see images, pieces of artwork out there that I'm like, oh yeah, that's one-page rules right there. But you know, you see tons of artwork for stuff. Even I remember War Machine was out in Iron Kingdoms. You would see just random artists making something cool for it or things like that. And so you're like, no, that's out there. They have their own intellectual property that's like, you know, pretty decent.
No, that stuff's nice.
Which is why I say Steamforge needs to quit screwing around and really like buckle down on making some really good storytelling. They squashed so much good storytelling that was in the game.
Yeah.
And so wanting to move forward and all that stuff, I understand the business reason for wanting to do it, but it's a long-term business failure if you're not going to have something that's as good. And so far they have not made it as good.
The lore you're talking about?
They need to reach out to Doug Seacat and just promise him whatever he wants. Just whatever it is you want, man. We'll just do that. Like, get in here. We need somebody who's like cares about the lore and is also good at telling it.
Find an old schooler. Find somebody who wrote stuff in like the 80s and get them in. I feel like you would do amazing because all the modern writing people are absolutely sick to death of.
Oh my god, yeah.
Why hasn't Steamforged Games made an Epic Encounters IKRPG box? That could be fun. So that kind of speaks to, well, I'm assuming that would be a specific RPG adventure is what you're talking about, Patty. Like
it sounds like a buzzword, but I'm not registering it. I don't know what an Epic Encounters is.
Yes, you can, Patty. I remember, again, GW is trying to move to a 2-year release cycle. Well, already we've had 10th edition for 3 years, so it's getting close. Getting close to dying. 4th edition is the current kill team if you consider the standalone games as the only edition.
Okay.
We need to go back to 5-year. I was hoping the secret announcement. Decepticon, yeah. Steamforge Casual Packet comes out Friday. Sweet. Check it out.
I'm not gonna lie, I keep eyeballing 4th edition and just being like, should we just go all in on just going back to 4th edition?
Like it's 40K 4th edition?
Yeah. It's too bad because it's like the rules are really good, except the vehicle rules sucked compared to monstrous creatures. So like you could have a dreadnought go up against like a Carnifex, and the dreadnought was just going to lose every time because all you got to do is roll on its damage table if you hurt it, whereas the other thing actually had hit points and could hold out for a little while. So those rules were bad. All the other rules were really good. I liked them quite a lot. And so it's like, which edition?
Would you just put up with that edition, or would you try to play it and house rule?
Good question. Just count everything as a monstrous creature just to fix it. I don't know.
I guess that would be a simple solution. So I'm starting to collect the Facebook images. So can you pull up those encounters we were watching last night of the Hero Quest stuff?
Yeah. So there was actually a really cool, let me see if I can find it here.
It's so dang charming, I guess, is it's the thing about it for me, where like I could imagine myself as a kid just like watching these stories play out. SFG needs to do something with Company of Iron. They'd probably win me back with that. Also, how do I not have the War Machine app plus for subbing to my mini factory thing? I don't know.
That's an interesting question.
I wouldn't mind seeing Company of Iron come back. It just would have to be streamlined. It got so clunky by the end. I'm working on a diorama for the Accursed Arcana. Ooh. Casual play pack. Yep, releases on the app on Friday. Well, I have the app now. It's up to date, and I will be playing it. In fact, that works out well because Flo has acquiesced to letting me teach her War Machine.
That I have.
As long as she gets to play Grimkin.
Yeah. She gets to play Grimkin. That's fine. I'll keep my reds. Bolt action FAQs are out every 3 months and are typically rules clarifications, not point adjustments. Oh my God. Every time I open my freaking GW app, all of my old lists all have little exclamations for being like in violation all of a sudden because of changes like that. It's annoying.
So here you go.
We need to discuss a plan.
There is nothing to discuss.
Okay.
We
Pause it a
found
second.
talisman.
I need to make a point about the voice acting. So personally, as a girl who grew up in the 90s of video game voice acting, I kind of love it. I understand this part is a little bit rough for people though.
Yes.
We leave. No distractions. One way is clear. Here there is something. Be quiet.
What sort of something?
You loud
So I think these are
mouth.
kind of
Fine.
amazing.
Time to test my new crossbow. Sweet.
And of course,
What?
like down the road.
Nah, it's just a scratch. You must be one of Strom's friends.
Oh, well, yes, I suppose we could say that.
So what is this actually named under? So this is kind of essentially playing, it's the new version of Hero Quest, although the person making this I think has played for years and years and years and has the old version and this new one. I didn't realize, I was kind of looking into it. The new version, Milton Bradley still owns, I think. But it doesn't have anything to do with the Warhammer universe or world or anything, as far as I can tell. It uses some of the old models, but that's about it. But it's a series of these stop motion adventures. And the thing is this is the game as it's being played. So it's like, it's not even pre-scripted. The voice acting stuff is put in later with the editing, but it's pretty cool.
No, it's very, very charming. And it's a whole campaign she's playing from a one-man show, as far as I can tell. Like, she just plays the game. She sort of uses dice rolls to help with the decision-making of all of the characters. So it's not just her gaming it. And yeah, so we don't actually know where the adventure's going. And it's just, I don't know. It's super charming.
Yes, it is.
Also,
Speaking
I
of
don't
the
think
voice
there's...
acting, voice acting just makes me think of the Majesty game.
Yes.
With discount Sean Connery. Oh my gosh.
Well, and to be fair, it's just her doing all the voice acting. So she's using, I think, AI to just make the male voices, for example. But it's, again, it's just her doing it by herself to make this insanely quaint, like, story of whatever their little adventure is. So we watched one last night of them.
Nomia's Tiny Adventures, by the way. Nomia. I wanted to show the name of the channel for those interested in checking it out.
It's so cute, guys. And so far, I haven't heard anything that would sound like bad for kids to hear, right? There's just like the little, gameplay violence of killing a monster or whatever, but like their jokes are pretty cheesy and it's all pretty like safe if you have little ones that you're like, I don't know, maybe this would be entertaining to them.
Yeah, so I don't know, just a little spotlight, community spotlight. Not a big channel. What is it? 732 subscribers, but got quite a few of them. Though.
It makes me want to play this game. It makes me like want to live in that little world and just play these dumb little adventures together. Like that's fun.
So yeah, we wanted to bring that up and show it to you guys this week.
Wargaming should be a cozy experience full of war. Okay, so here's an interesting thing that Thomas brought up from whenever I was hosting the game panel last year at Nova, designer for Trench Crusade. And he had talked about war games being a really interesting way of practicing conflict. I'm trying to remember what he actually called it. It was something about conflict. So the idea of like, there's two people playing a game. It's usually two people, and there's going to be a winner and a loser. And you're sort of learning sportsmanship in a way, right? I mean, you would learn that from normal sports for those of you who took sports. But for other people, or for them too, conflict resolution. You know, you're playing games, you're playing by the rules, and you're learning about how to deal with the conflict of the fact that one of you is going to win and one of you is going to lose. And I think it's sort of amazing for that. There is the vaster world of like, oh, this is all the war aspects of it. When you're actually just playing the game nitty gritty though, it's just engineering. You're just solving a bunch of problems and small math equations, right, the whole time. So it doesn't feel very warlike. It is more cozy and quaint, or frustrating when you're having to look up stuff all the time.
So here, bring that quote back up because I would like to address it.
Okay.
It should be a cozy experience full of war, not anxiety. And it's a funny quote, but I would say that a war game should be a game full of tactical decisions and not technical support, which is looking up rules interactions to see what works correctly is technical support, in my opinion. That is getting the program to run, not you using the program.
Okay. I don't hate that. I'm still pulling over images, just so you know. There's kind of a lot, which I appreciate.
Well, nice. I was going to try to add in some of my stuff. I've been, which I have not. I don't have my images uploaded or messed with. I end up sanding and working on stuff. So I'm putting together right now a big Tau table for Valhalla. I was finishing up I had some terrain last year. It wasn't really enough for a table. It was just some stuff that I'd been putting together. But this year I'm going to try to have a full thematic Tau table to add to the game tables this year. And, when we get finished, I'll record some videos and all kinds of stuff, and maybe even put up a video on the table itself. But as of now, I'm doing a lot of sanding and priming and using glazing putty and gluing and yes, lots of stuff. Soon to be painting, adding to it.
Yes.
Ordering Tau Tau decals to put all over it. I'm going crazy here.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Detailed as I can.
All right. Those are pretty much in place. Okay, so we won't be talking about that. That's fine.
Hey, look, Flo's playing Stardew Valley. She's just planting little green plants right now.
Oh, purple plants. Yes.
Plants.
I'm sorry, purple. Why did I say green? Purple plants.
I don't know why you said green.
That's
You
random.
colorblind. DJ is.
No, I'm looking right at him. I'm like, I don't know why I just said green instead of purple.
I think I've said this before on this channel. There is a point where it is better to make a new game instead of cramming what is good into a new edition. What is that point then? Like,
I mean, so far, I think every edition should have destroying your enemies, driving them before you, and hearing the lamentations of their women.
Yeah. I guess there's that. No, but okay, so War Machine and GW both have the I go, you go rule, like all of one side and all of the other side. If that were to be changed to alternating activations or one unit goes at a time, would that be such a fundamental change as to justify a new game versus a new edition?
So, yeah, I mean, that's sort of a question, right? I'm curious about that with what Patty replies to that, because, I mean, I would love to see that in either of those games. I think it would make both of those games better games. But I know there's such legacy rules that I don't know if they will ever change them.
True fact. Menoth is back. That's you.
I'll believe it when I see it. And they better be writing dinosaurs. That's all I'm saying.
There are more 10mm mecha games than there are 6mm and BattleTech is 6mm. Oh, this is so tiny. But Cav Heavy Gear and Steel Rain, or whatever the one from Death Ray Designs is called. Oh, yeah. What is that one from Death Ray? Jeremy and I are bringing a jousting game, Full Metal Tilt. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Tommy, I have the 3D files that are designed to be printed at 1/60th scale for BattleTech. There are quite a few parts, though. Oh, and we went to the Comic-Con last month. There was a cool 3D print of the... What droid is that? From episode 1? The little...
Oh,
one
no.
like
It was...
Pokeball.
well, we did see, what is it, Chopper or whatever, which was... Oh, what's her name? That has little head tails. She's a little Jedi that runs around, but it was her series. But there was a little, it looked like R2D2, but he looks different. He's a little shorter. But they had him all remote controlled and stuff, but he was a full 3D print. Oh, no. I know what you're talking. You're talking about the battle droids, the destroyers.
Yeah, that's what it
Is it the destroyers, the ones that would roll around and were immune to Jedis, and Jedis had to run from. But yeah, somebody had 3D printed an entire one.
It's massive. Hey, we have a game we haven't talked about, Warcrow.
I don't know much about Warcrow, to be honest.
I know it's from Corvus Belli, and it is their fantasy version of their game. And it does seem interesting. I mean, I did see some of their promotion of it at Nova.
I remember the name, and I didn't remember it was Corvus Belli that did it.
He doesn't hate change. He just needs to hear it justified.
Oh no, I want good changes. I think I've advocated for change many times. It's just no one ever changes the bad things. They only just change what's good into what's worse. Like the things that need to be fixed. No one ever changes those. They always leave the broken stuff broken.
Got some really good pulpy indie writers now. Maybe.
Case in point, I would love to see GW change to alternating activation.
That would be such a fundamental change.
Huge change, and yet I want it. I'm here for it.
It would make the game a lot more interesting because, after I did all my stuff and I'm disappointed and sad, I'm like, okay, well, just beat me up. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Tell me what to take off the table. Except I can't because I got to make my rolls. But whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, no, but it would make the game more engaging also because you're not sitting there waiting for stuff to happen for so long.
Yeah.
There is a lot of just sitting around waiting. And then just being on
wait.
call for dice rolls, which worked probably fine when the rules weren't insanely complex with a bunch of special rules bloat and having to memorize. I mean, again, for me, all of my Lehman Russes have their own special rule that you've got to remember. And all of my units have their own little special ability that you've got to remember. And it's annoying. Throw caution to the wind. Bring back Rogue Trader.
Which I think was just more of a role-playing game than a war game, to be honest.
Yeah. Dude, I love that voice acting. Thank you, Patty. Right? Isn't it lovely? I think that channel is so incredibly charming.
So the lady who makes these is Spanish.
I think she is.
It feels like her native language is Spanish. And so I think she does the voice acting for all of it, but then feeds them into 11 Labs. And so you're hearing 11 Labs make voices that it's interpreting off of the performance, off of somebody speaking English. The English is their second language. So it's an interesting output.
It works great.
I don't hate it.
Addie, I'll have to send you the intro video to Majesty and see what you think of it. Just because I love it.
No, I think it's super cute, Patty. I think your kids would enjoy watching it. Conflict resolution. I didn't think it wasn't that. It was some other weird phrase for it where it's like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Lest we forget, smash the like button. Thank you, Thomas. Looking out for me. Gentlemen, we can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Yes, it's a great movie.
Well, but you have these fights that you practice so that you can handle conflict, presumably, in the future. And I don't know that you handle conflict by rules luring each other. Like, this should be a social game that theoretically teaches and encourages healthy social interactions. Just like sports are supposed to teach that same thing. Just like movies with deep emotional tones are supposed to kind of teach you how to handle,
How to
sadness or
handle
grief
emotions
and
before you run into
anger.
them in real life.
Like we have just an embarrassment of riches to help prepare ourselves for life, and I feel like we waste them utterly by avoiding
One of the things I had to deal with that I learned through wargaming over the years is what is it? It's like, I'm trying to think of the best way to kind of explain it, but it's like not taking disaster personally, where learning to just laugh at like whenever oh man, I had this
Whenever
plan.
things go really poorly.
Yeah, it's like, well, I had plans to do something with these guys.
That didn't go the way I
Those
wanted.
guys just got smashed. All right, fair enough, But you kind of learn to just like let those things slide. And a lot of war gamers have a hard time with it, which means they need to keep practicing. They need to keep practicing learning how to deal with it, because man, it's just gonna come no matter whether you like it or not. Sometimes those dice will just leave you out in the wind.
Gamer's grass.
Gamer's grass.
Yeah, he was asking if I was using Green Stuff World Tufts.
God, it sounds like a store here in Albuquerque that you play board games and buy your weed at.
Yeah, too many of those stupid shops around here.
Yeah.
All right, let's pull up some minis, shall we? I think I saved them all. How many do I have? Freaking out my computer. Got 15. It looks like that. So hopefully I got them all. And also thank you all for sharing your minis with me. I'm so excited to share them and ooh and ah over all the amazing work you guys do, because it looks amazing. There we go. Okay, this is of course Dexter.
Ooh.
So Plunder Den coming in with some amazing terrain once again. So here's a little zoom in shot off the coast, off the shore there.
You can see the waves rolling in up there on the top left.
And that thatch cottage, thatch
Roof
roofing.
cottages.
Yes, we don't see Trogdor making a visit yet, but
Yeah, when are you putting Trogdor in one of these?
You want us to build one for you? I totally will.
Flows all in.
she'll paint one for sure.
Although, man, that cargo net looks great.
I know, I was just noticing this like a little bit. It's probably just some twine, I would imagine. And then here's like some little grass stuff, I guess, I assume all of this stuff is kind of what Flo is using, little tufts. I say that he scratch built a lot.
That might just be like static grass and stuff like that. Also,
Oh,
and
could
moss. I see moss for sure.
I kind of wonder if you just take those little chip brushes and just like cut the bristles off of them and lay them in as like tufts of straw.
That's a good
So
point.
you guys are no longer useful to me. I will make you useful again.
Yes.
As long as it's not coated a bunch of gunk. And those things are what?
Oh,
like
cheap as hell.
Cents for thing, even now, even after all the inflation. But yeah, that's amazing that these are like cut up egg crates, that this is like the party cellophane streamers that are like coated on. I don't know. He's an incredibly talented person. Here's
talented wargaming scavenger. Just finding all kinds of things to scavenge.
He is an artisan crafter. But yeah, so here's the roof being lifted up and what's underneath, I believe, into here.
Yeah, that's cool.
That looks really good.
It's like kind of unlocks the imagination, I think.
They're armored up here. I don't know what's going on into this little area they're protecting. These guys over here seem a little concerned about what's going on off on the water. I guess the enemy is also coming from over here. Oh, there they are.
They're having a shootout at the OK Corral over here. I mean, look at these guys up on the roof shooting down on them. Man, I feel like the little red shirt guys in trouble.
Yeah, I do worry about them.
They often are.
I don't know whose side these guys are on. Is this a three-way battle? I feel like these poor suckers have no idea what's going on. It's like me out in the background, like, what? Is there a shootout happening? Anyway, Jeremy bringing in some old school minis. Look at that hat. How do you even get through a doorway?
Oh, I love those. Man, those take me back. I remember those guys.
Yeah. I've never even played with these, and it feels like nostalgia. Good
I like
job,
the
Jamie.
chainmail and stuff on them and the cloth.
Bright,
Good work.
flamboyant eagle
That one looks good.
on wings as eagles. Ooh, Matthew bringing in nice. He's looking cool. His little pet crow or raven there, and his stick of doom.
Man, the only thing this guy needs is an explosion behind him that he's walking away from while not looking at it.
Yeah, yeah. Very cool looking. I like it. Nice and subtle. Little Hollow Man with a little Grimkin gremlin on him.
Grimkin monkey on his back.
He's got his gold coin and a dagger, a little crown. Looks like he's wearing a wrestling belt. Huh. Interesting. So the Hollow Men were deserters. That's where the Grimkin captured their souls. And so the little gremlins are typically like the ones who capture or antagonize them or whatever. So maybe there's like a greed factor being represented here. Ruben showing up with some army mans. Yeah. You know what I love about this picture? These guys look so easy to transport.
They look like they just fit right into some battle foam and
you don't
close
have
the
to have
case
like
up.
specially cut out foam or do all the magnet tray stuff just so that your model that sticks out in 8 different directions can fit. But nice work, sir. And this seems like really chill to paint, right? You're just zoning out, just enjoying listening to a podcast or an audiobook or hanging out with someone talking and painting up the stuff. A lot of static grass, my goodness. 44 Soviet Naval Brigade soldiers. We're going to use a lot of minis last year. I got to have enough for a 3rd player. I know I had a lot of bodies to throw into the machine as I was playing the Soviets. Hollow Holden. Oh, okay. Thank you, Tom.
Is that where you were playing last year? You were the Soviets?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
I played them every time I play bolt action. I'm like, yeah, just give me the Soviets. They have no regard for human life. Then I don't have to know the rules that well. Just throw bodies. I take that back. It was actually a lot of fun. It was fun both kicking butt and getting my butt kicked. Oof. Beautiful OSL. All right, well, you can read who it is, but obviously this is Thomas's work. He's got this dude, you got a really strong, like Pixar style or something going on to your painting. It always looks so different from the way I see most other minis painted. But look at this firelight and how it's spread out. And you see it a little bit on these chains here, but like not on the rope because obviously it would be out of range of it. I don't know, just so good at this. I don't mean that in a patronizing way. It's kind of over, like, I don't know. It's stunning. We've got a few pictures. So we've got the full rotation of what are these pigs that are
yeah, little pigs.
Pygmy trolls. He's got his little spyglass to help aim. He's just sitting on top of the cannon. Nothing wrong with that. He's what? Cranking it?
Well, gives you a better vantage point to see with. See, he's scouting. He's telling them where to shoot.
Hollow Holden had a coin he would flip, and it was how he decided to run from the heretic. Grimkin taunts him with it, I think.
Oh, okay.
There you go. See, that's like an interesting little bit of lore. Kind of fun to see represented in your miniature.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, I feel the glow of that. It's so impressive. And there's the butt of the cannon. Little 3 dudes there. And then there's the other guy who's holding up the fire.
I just love you can see on the side the piece of the little wood that's holding the cannon in place. You can just see even the highlights on the grain of the wood.
On the floor, on his foot. Jesus, Thomas. That's really an amazing piece. Holy cow. All the credit to you for sure on that. Oh,
that might be the last image.
It looks like it is. So there you go. Thank you all for sharing those. I love seeing what you did. Magnificent eyeball in the spyglass, right?
The magnified eyeball.
Pig Cannon Crew. Precisely. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at. I don't know if we came to any solutions or anything with the app thing. It was just a frustration I had that just realized how much time I was spending, and Voice was noticing how much time I was spending on my phone instead of playing this game. And I'm like, that's not what was meant to happen. It's not the intention. I don't think that's, when you think of somebody playing a war game, you think of it being such a manual process and such an analog thing that, I don't know. I don't want it to be
frankly, that's why you play them.
Don't want it to be usurped by a bunch of technology.
Share the Nightbringer here.
Ah, yes. Show it off. So I'm going to solo layout you. Maybe that doesn't matter. Doesn't make any difference. No, you can see it's just as much of him. Never mind.
He's cool.
Solution to GW apps is less GW app? I mean,
yes.
Yes.
And I mean, so I know a lot of people are like, oh, you don't like technology and stuff. I have always been around technology. I learned how to program BASIC in 4th grade, like back in the 80s. I worked at AOL when they released the unlimited pricing plan, did technical support, did stuff like that. Like I've always been around. In the 90s, I learned to be a computer animator. Technology has never really scared me. It's just, I love what it can do, but man, just chasing it all the time gets tiresome. And it's like, well, you start to really get to the point where you're like, I would like to just use the tools for what they're good for. Yes. And there comes a point where now you have a tool just to have it. Right. And I think a lot of the app guys, people who get real excited about apps, oh no, I have an app for that. Oh, I have my tablet. I have this. It's the same guy who has like an entire collection of DeWalt tools in his garage, but doesn't do anything with them. They're all clean, and occasionally he'll use the drill and the little screw gun to like hang something up at his house or whatever. But it's just like, well, he bought all the tools because he likes having the tools, but he's not using the tools. The tools aren't needed for something. And then you go out and you see some guy who's like, I remember seeing a guy who does, it's like the concrete sculptures on the sides of buildings. And the tools he has, it's like, man, you've had that trowel for probably at least 10 years. You know what I mean? And it's just a trowel you use, and you use it because you know the shape of it, and you know exactly the shape that you'll create with it whenever you put the thickened concrete on the wall, and you're doing all this stuff. This wheelbarrow he's had forever. Like you see people that have these tools that you're like, yeah, you didn't go out and buy fancy tools. You just learned how to use the tools that you have. And so when I think of a game, I think of like a really well written game, just a game that has an elegance to it. And then you just spend 10 years playing it and enjoying it and learning the nuances of a well-made game. And that's what I want. Not just constant new stuff thrown at me constantly. That's not all that great.
Well, I wonder if you can equate it to like learning an instrument and practicing an instrument. But you always want to make sure that you can come back and keep practicing what you already know, instead of like, oh, well, we've changed how music works now, so you have to do it this way.
Look, we've redesigned the guitar. Look, now we've retuned it to now it's upside down, but an E string is in the middle. And it's just like, okay. And so you're constantly trying to rememorize how chords are shaped so you can play the guitar. But every like couple of months they're like, no, look, we've changed fundamentally the strings on your guitar again. You're like, oh my God,
the knowledge base, you gotta yeah. I think that's it feels so unnecessary. So anyway.
I see the discussion, the debate over which tool company is the one that actually creates the good tools. And it's like, I see this debate, but I can tell you the guy who collects all the tools collects DeWalt. That's the one he's collecting. I've seen it a million times.
You do see it a lot. That's true.
The clean garage with a clean set of DeWalt tools.
Yes. All right. Well, we're going to leave it here, which means we'll be back in 2 weeks, which is going to be in March 4th, it looks like. How exciting. So
already.
Thank you all for hanging out tonight. We appreciate you joining us. Thanks for sharing that stuff on the Facebook. Don't forget to like the video. And yeah, let's have a good couple of weeks, guys. Happy hobbying.
Yeah, thanks for showing up, everybody.
Bye bye.
Barry, cover me. All right, guys, this is it. Copy that. No more sandwiches, Barry. What's wrong with this place? I'm in the west corridor. I'm right outside the generator room. I'm out of bullets. Oh, Barry. Success.